Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the Snyder cut and fans winning.
And some people don't like that.
And how the media is very salty about that. And this is interesting because at the end of the day, it doesn't have anything to do with caving to people so much as it does to do with money.
Right.
Where is the money? And this is what's going to dictate who wins the pop culture wars. Who's got the money?
Well, exactly. And that's what they're mad about, because they've gotten themselves into these positions of, we're the tastemakers. We're the ones who get to say what's what. And they're just kind of going past them and being like, we don't care what you have to say because we're not making it for you. We're making it for people who are going to pay for it.
Right. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to tie Sonic the Hedgehog into it. Give us a couple minutes first. I want to tie up some loose ends.
Okay.
We have a couple of updates on stories that maybe don't warrant their own video, but they do, I guess, fit the theme of fans winning. The Back to the Future writer asked Universal to destroy the censored version of Back to the Future Part 2.
Where they had the ooh la la, they took it out.
They cut out ooh la la. Now, the story is apparently that Universal somehow got an edited foreign copy, and that's the copy they passed on to Netflix. It wasn't Netflix, supposedly, that edited the movie. It was they just worked with what Universal gave them.
Some people said that they thought that might have happened. I read people saying that. I think you even mentioned it too at one point.
Yeah, I thought I mean, I'll be honest. In this case, I'm going to give them the benefit of a doubt because it was a very weird thing to cut.
Yeah, it was odd. It wasn't like something you'd expect. But then, if it was an edited version, right? Was the rest of it wasn't edited then?
No, it was just that part.
So that doesn't make sense, because a lot of times when it was edited for TV or whatever, there's more than one place that it's edited. So who knows, but that's the story that they're saying.
Yeah, so apparently this version, now this is a story that neither Bob Gale or Robert Zemeckis knew that this particular version existed. It was edited for a specific country overseas. Now, this is the story that Disney gave us about Grunkle Stan's Fez in Gravity Falls. They said, oh, that's the Turkish version. We accidentally put it on, Disney Plus. Oopsie doopsie.
They didn't want to offend someone because they're afraid it was a symbol.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, I will give them the benefit of the doubt. The fact that the writer, the screenwriter got involved and was like, destroy this version, it doesn't even make sense to make this cut, is a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
And maybe this can send a message to places like Netflix and Disney Plus that people are going to catch these stupid edits. And in Disney's cases, Disney's case, you can kind of sort of see it, I guess, because they're trying to be more family friendly, but some of their edits are just outright stupid. Yeah. They're stupid. So, crisis averted. Tuca and Birdie. Now, this one's really interesting. I've never seen the show. You've never seen the show?
I've never watched it.
This doesn't look like the kind of show you'd like anyway.
No, probably not. I don't know. I never saw it, so I might like it. Who knows?
Who knows? Anyway, I did a couple of videos last year about Netflix canceling the show, and people were outraged, but the weird thing about it is nobody knew the show existed. There was virtually no marketing for it. And it's, done by the same team that does BoJack Horseman. Right,
which, but my point is, the fans, whether it's something I would like or not like, the fans got it saved.
Yeah, this is weird. It's coming back to Adult Swim. Now, this is strange because usually, Adult Swim has saved shows in the past. Shows that Fox had canceled, Family Guy and Futurama. They started doing reruns on Adult Swim, and then there was enough interest to
but
pick the show back up. But this is reverse. Yeah, usually Netflix is where shows get saved. Right. So now Netflix...
Like Lucifer.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
I love Lucifer.
And they actually bring this up in the article, but Netflix canceled this show. There was fan outrage, and now Adult Swim is picking it up. Now, Adult Swim is owned by Warner Media. Their long-term plan is probably to put this on HBO Max.
And that could be. But the point is, whether you like the show or not, whether, it's for you or not, the fact is fans got behind it and got it saved. And that's kind of what we're talking about, is fans of properties getting things saved. But before you turn the page, I'm just kind of freaked out because I actually use this stuff. And
that's weird.
I never search for it on your computer, but there's an ad for it.
Maybe they know. Maybe there's little...
I've used that. It's in the medicine cabinet right now.
I don't know.
It's weird.
Maybe there's a chip inside the bottle in it.
I don't know, but I have a whole bunch of their stuff, and it's in the medicine cabinet.
If you like Tuca and Birdie, you'll love this Mineral 89.
I don't know. It's because it's for women. I don't know, but
I don't know. But I guess if you're a fan of the show, that's good news. Again, I've never seen it.
I don't watch it.
I just thought it was really interesting to see Netflix, which is known for saving shows, give up on this one so quickly and then
And
have
someone else
Adult Swim
takes it.
pick it up. Yeah, especially since it's the BoJack Horseman people, and that was a kind of a big hit for them.
Ironically, Michael Eisner ended up going to this. He's with the people that do BoJack Horseman and stuff.
Well, he's with this studio then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Eisner. So it's a small world
pretty
after
sure.
all. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, because I've never seen it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe there's some wheeling and dealing. So they're going to Adult Swim, probably going to wind up on HBO Max. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Speaking of Disney, speaking of HBO Max, this gentleman here did a theme song for the Snyder Cut.
Okay.
This gentleman here identifies himself as Fandom Menace.
Okay.
This gentleman here got himself retweeted by AT&T.
Ooh.
Somebody at AT&T, Warner Media, is beginning to realize where their bread is buttered. And again, this goes back to just a couple of weeks ago. We got a mystery box from HBO Max. We've been actually very critical of some of the stuff that Warner has done.
But we're fair.
We're fair, and we'll give them props when they deserve it.
Yeah, Ghibli was giving all the studio Ghibli over was a very, very, very good idea.
That was a good move. Getting animation, all this animation on HBO Max, which is what we're really excited about. That's a good move. Acknowledging the fans that have been petitioning for years for a Snyder Cut, officially acknowledging them with the AT&T account is a good move.
You know what the whole thing is? They're probably just pissed because a person had a Fandom Menace. It was on the Fandom Menace hashtag. That's probably what why the Collider's having such a hissy.
It could be. It could be. But, here's the thing. Warner Media is going to benefit from this because at the end of the day, it's all about the money.
I'll have to listen to that later. I kind of want to hear it now.
Yeah, I listened to part of it. It's pretty good. I think they're just starting to realize, look, the fans are not your enemies. They're not your enemies.
Oh my gosh, some people's heads are exploding right now because they're like, oh my gosh, he's Fandom Menace, but he's not white. Dun dun dun!
Dun dun dun! Yeah, it's crazy, but the fans are not your enemies. But the thing is that these studios and especially the media outlets that support them prematurely make the fans their enemies.
Right, and what's going on? And Collider here is having a meltdown, and they have to invoke Sonic. It gets interesting.
Yeah. So again, I knew this was going to happen, and here's the thing: I personally do not care one way or the other about the Snyder Cut. I know a lot of people have made a big deal about it. I wasn't a huge fan of Justice League to begin with.
Well, maybe it'll change your mind.
Well, maybe that's it.
I actually don't mind it as much. I like it more than you do. I still don't think it's great, but I thought it was better than what you thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Wonder Woman solo movie. I like the Aquaman.
Love Wonder Woman.
Solo
Yeah,
movie.
something else. I want to bring that up for a moment. Aquaman.
Yeah.
How come no one has a fit about Aquaman? If their narrative is people, they don't like, diversity, they don't like changes, whatever, how come people aren't having a shit fit about Aquaman?
That's a really good question. I don't remember any. I mean, maybe people were having a fit about Aquaman not being white, but I don't recall that.
Because everybody I've ever talked to thought he was a great choice and has had no problem with it.
Yeah, I
But, I'm just saying, we're talking about narratives and gatekeeping and all that crap and how they like to say fans are toxic and fans are this and that. Everybody always steps over Wonder Woman. A lot of people love Wonder Woman and they step over that. And Aquaman, if their narrative was true, there would be a whole shit ton of people pissed about Aquaman, and there isn't. Same for Shazam. It's a very diverse cast. Do people care? No.
Yeah, I don't know, because Wonder Woman, people are trying to say that the media is trying to say that there was as much backlash over Wonder Woman as there was over Captain Marvel.
Nope.
I don't remember it.
I don't remember that either.
I mean, we weren't really doing these kinds of videos then, but I was on a lot of these news sites, and I don't remember anybody going turbo nuclear over Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but then Gal Gadot wasn't out there making the comments
that is the difference.
Certain people were making. Anyway, to the article.
So this is, again, this, you're probably right. I didn't think about this. This is a day after they retweeted and gave props to a Fandom Menace member.
I'm sure that's what this is about.
Here comes Collider. Well, it happened. Zack Snyder's cut of his failed superhero team-up movie Justice League will see a release on Warner Media's direct-to-consumer streaming platform HBO Max. Members of the movement who have been hectoring Warner Brothers to release this version of the movie see it as a giant win. Everyone else should be worried about what this means for the rest of cinema.
Even the actors were saying to release it.
So dramatic.
Dun, dun, dun. You just want to hear, like, you know, the violins out there, you know, just for this person.
Yeah, this is like, how very dare you? So they're talking, again, here we go. They're talking about the Snyder Cut. They even had a billboard for it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm talking, people see it as bullying and harassment. I see it as passion.
Yeah, I see it as, like, I mean, dude, go get a billboard. I mean, that's kind of, you know, I kind of respect that a little bit, you know?
Right. I was a marketing guy for years. If I had people this passionate about wanting a product, that they went to these extreme measures to tell me that this is what they wanted, you would be freaking stupid to ignore it. Mm-hmm. You'd be absolutely stupid. But we know studios are stupid.
Well, what's the problem? Why people don't want it released?
Because you don't want to cave to the fans. Because then
you might make money?
Because because then the fans will, you give the fans something that they want, and then you know what? You're going to keep giving them what they want, and you're going to keep making money, and you won't.
And you're not going to need me anymore to tell people what they should and shouldn't want.
Exactly.
You're not going to need Collider to sit there and tell you what your taste should be, and we no longer have our platform that we spent all of a few years making sure we appropriated.
How is Collider I'm just side rant? How is Collider still around? They fired all their video people in a day. They're like, hey guys, you're gone. You built the platform, but piss off. Would you listen to
that?
Yeah, would you listen to anything these people would say? They bullied those who suggested maybe the Snyder version, which would require tens of millions of dollars to finish the visual effects, might actually be worse. Who would want to watch a half-finished movie anyway?
Where were they bullied and in what way?
I don't know.
I mean, they're going out bullying, but, okay, give me some examples. Because, we've seen the fandom get bullied over things like She-Ra, but I can cite examples. Where are the examples?
I would love to see some examples. They bullied those who thought the theatrical release version was good. Most of all, they bullied Warner Brothers, who clearly went in a completely different direction from what Snyder was playing. I don't know.
They don't seem like they're bullying them to me.
It doesn't seem to me like they really care.
No, it seems like, now we have a platform, now it makes sense to release it. How do we get a lot of subscribers to beat Disney?
Yes.
Snyder Cut!
Yes. According to a report in the New York Times, Whedon wrote 80 new pages of material. Fans in the industry began asking anyone involved with the film what they thought about the Snyder Cut. Everybody talked about it.
I thought all the actors were saying about it.
We get there. So this is the thing. Everybody wants this thing, right? One of the most vocal supporters of the movement on Twitter described the move by Warner Brothers as sabotage, failing to acknowledge that if the version Snyder submitted was so good, then Warner's would have probably, released it. Snyder eventually began stoking the movement, so too did several stars, including Batman, Aquaman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. The whole freaking everybody wants it.
Nothing. I was just smiling about it.
Okay. It seemed
I'm allowed to smile.
You're allowed to smile. It seemed like a profound waste of everyone's time and further evidence that the only tool in this movement's arsenal was aggressive, unpleasant forcefulness.
Well, how come it's okay when they bully and they're aggressive and unpleasant and shit all over, things, and that's okay. But if anybody else tries to push back on anything, they're just unpleasant and aggressive and terrible.
The fact that Warner Brothers has not only acknowledged this incredibly obnoxious fan uproar, but also agreed per their demands is mystifying and potentially dangerous.
It's not mystifying. We see dollar signs. If we release the Snyder Cut and there's this many people interested in the Snyder Cut, they're going to subscribe to HBO Max to see the Snyder Cut. It's basic. It's pretty simple to follow. It's not mind-boggling or mystifying or anything.
People tell you, look, this is customer feedback. People tell you this is what we want. This is what fries these people's circuits. It's the same with the comic book websites. They can't understand why, so many of these crowdfunders are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're struggling to keep their comics published. It's because those people are giving them what they want. Mm-hmm. They're listening. What kind of comics do you want? We'll take your money. We'll give you what you want. That is business, but these people don't understand business.
No, and here's the thing. If they're going to go to this much trouble, it is going to cost them this much more money to do it. It's got to be something they think is going to appeal to the general public and, not just Twitter.
Well, it's a huge selling point. We've basically got an almost brand new version of Justice League. You can only see it on HBO Max. Hurry, hurry, hurry. The Snyder Cut you've heard about? Look, these guys did all the marketing for Warner Brothers.
Yep.
people are going to flock to HBO Max. They're going to be like, hell yeah, we're going to watch the Snyder
If
Cut.
it didn't exist, why would these actors mention it? Why would they promote it if it didn't exist?
Yeah.
And they must feel it's better too, or they wouldn't be saying anything.
Yep. The message is clear. See, this is the problem. If you bitch and moan enough, chances are the studio might not only hear you, but actually agree with you.
That's not true, because I bitched and moaned about She-Ra plenty, and they didn't fix that.
No, they didn't. The fan uproar, which was at the very least annoying and the very worst, especially on Twitter, actively threatening
whom? When is it? I've never seen it. They always do, but they never. I mean, I can actually show you examples of people actually making threats and comments to us about stuff like She-Ra. Where's your examples of actual people threatening people because they wanted the Snyder Cut?
Receipts. Show us the receipts. Show us many examples of people in this movement actively threatening.
Now, I'm not saying it's not possible, because there are always extremes.
There are always extremes.
In everything. There's always extremists. And what happens is one side likes to paint the whole group with a broad brush, and the other side's not supposed to do that.
Right. Oh yeah, you're allowed to threaten if you're on.
If you agree with this person on Collider.
If you're on the right side of history, you're allowed to threaten. Their methods have been approved. Everything they did had a purpose, because Warner Brothers has finally given them what they want.
Yeah, because they want to make money. They want to keep the fans happy.
Fandom menace.
They're just mad because they think the
approves.
Fandom menace won something.
Well, we're going to get there, too.
That's what they're pissed about.
That's where this goes. We have seen the shadow of Release the Snyder Cut movement rear its ugly head recently with the release of The Rise of Skywalker.
Wait, they're not even related.
They're not even
Just
related.
because someone doesn't like The Rise of Skywalker doesn't mean that they're out there petitioning for the Snyder Cut. I have never once petitioned for the Snyder Cut, and I have been very vocal that I don't have any desire to see The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, fans convinced that J.J. Abrams had an original cut that was superior to the Disney and Kathy Kennedy release began whining to release the J.J. cut.
Wait, really? Because the only thing I ever got was everybody hated The Last Jedi, and they wished it wasn't there.
I've heard people say, "Can we get the Lucas cut?" I've heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's more of a joke.
Say it, but I mean, yeah.
I think it's more of a joke. I've talked to several people involved with the film who said that it was a trial to get any cut ready for December. So the idea that an entirely separate version exists is laughable.
I never thought anybody took that seriously. I really honestly never heard this.
The idea that Snyder or Abrams have secretly told away in some unseen masterpiece is ultimately more comforting than the reality of the situation that they just made lousy movies.
But if they want to fix it, and it's their thing. Why can't they fix it?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you have a chance, I will say, the Star Wars, the sequel trilogy. I mean, one, there was no captain on the ship. Kathleen Kennedy
there was no
supposed to be
plan. I don't care what they say. There was no plan.
But they also, I think, should have released the movies until they had a movie worth releasing.
Yeah.
People would wait an extra year or two for a good Star Wars movie, but they were so hell-bent on putting them out every 2 years.
He wanted to get his $7 billion movies that year.
Yeah.
They're hell-bent on that. They didn't care.
So they shat out some bad movies. I mean, even George Lucas took 3 years in between prequels. Mm-hmm. I'm just putting that out there. So for as long as the internet has raged, Warner Brothers has done the right thing and simply ignored them.
Okay, maybe everybody should do the right thing and simply ignore Collider.
The internet already gave them a voice when they shouldn't have had one. Yesterday, the studio gave them something they never expected but always craved: legitimacy. And now we're screwed.
Wait.
What the?
Wait, back the truck up. So wait, because they're gonna release something the fans have been asking for years. On a platform that hasn't come out yet, but they know will be popular on that platform. That's them giving them legitimacy. Anybody who's we're giving Collider legitimacy for talking about this damn article.
Fans,
this is a bunch of shit.
This is some serious salt. This guy is really salty.
I'm sorry, dude. I really think you need to see a therapist, because if you're this mad over a cut of a film that's not going to undo the other cut, the other cut's still going to be out there.
There are 2 Superman 2s. You can watch the Donner version. You can watch the theatrical version.
It's been going on for years. Studios have used this, for years to double down on movies.
Extended edition of Lord of the Rings.
I mean, because we get it to the fans because we're screwed.
You're right. I mean, to what you're saying before, you're absolutely right. This is the media shrieking because
they're not relevant.
They're not relevant because what's going on? Studios like Warner Brothers are stepping over your sorry asses.
What they learned after the Joker incident?
Joker was absolutely the breaking point. Look at the difference between Joker and even how Birds of Prey was handled, and look at like HBO for some reason, Warner Media, because again they need money badly, they're in debt. but they are doubling, tripling down on trying to win fans back.
They're gonna try to do more to do what fans want and make money, and less of what places like Collider and CBR and, you know, the Comic Resources and the Mary Sue and all these places that think that they're the ones that dictate what the taste should be. Because the ones who are screaming the loudest when they don't get their way are these news sites.
This has no. They're bringing Adventure Time back. You know, they're trying really hard to give people what they think they want.
I think they're stepping, because before they would listen to these outlets, they'd give them the access, they'd listen to what they had to say, and they base their ideas upon what they're telling them. Well, you know, what we suggest is blah, 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 which is why these people, you know, lobbied for these positions so hard, and then they got them, and when they got them, now they're starting to realize, well, they're talking out their ass and we're losing money. So
it reminds me of, we were watching The Goonies with the kids a couple of weeks ago, and it reminds me of Mouth talking to the housekeeper. And, you know, the mom is telling him one thing and he's telling the housekeeper something completely different. That's what these studios relied on these bloggers for the longest time, is sort of, they were the mediaries between the fandom and the studios, and now they're realizing that something has absolutely been lost in translation.
Well, they got so flippin' pissed off that they gave that HBO Max give us a box.
Oh, they were like salty.
Like, I have been talking about how great you are all this time, and you didn't give me a box. And it's like, yeah, because maybe they know that you're full of shit.
Yeah, I mean, they're stepping over the bloggers because the bloggers have been misrepresenting the truth. They're basically, you know, these studios are like, okay, guys, what's going on out there? You tell us. And they're just telling them a bunch of horse shit. And so then they've had box office failure after box office failure. And now they're like, look, we're in debt. We got to make money. What do people actually want?
What have they been asking for? They've been asking for this for years. Let's give them that.
I mean, the salt just goes on. I thought it was a parody at first. I thought this was like, oh, he's just being, this is a joke. And at the end, he's going to be like, oh, cool, the Snyder Cut's coming out. Yay. No. Fans displeased by perceived slights will now be insufferable. They'll demand alternate versions of movies more often, but their rhetoric will infect the release of this and any other DC property.
But they're just pissed because their rhetoric doesn't infect it anymore like it has forever? I mean, because before this, it was them who got to make the calls. You know, I think that's what they're pissed about.
If Warner Brothers thought this would quiet them down, it won't. If anything, it will amplify their voices. The entitlement is already unbearable.
But I can say the same thing about Collider and all the sites like it. Their entitlement is off the charts as well. They are so up their own asses and think that they are the ones who should dictate what's what. And that should be allowed to call people names and everything else.
So, okay, then here's Collider throwing shade at Zack Snyder. It would be wise to remember this is not a case of an artist having his paintbrush taken away from him midway through completing his masterpiece. Justice League is just a corporate product, one designed to sell Happy Meals and bed sheets and pave the way for additional, equally unambitious products. Snyder agreed to provide something and he didn't follow through. That's because his daughter died. The daughter died.
Did he even know? Did this person even know that?
Yeah, he didn't just like cut and run. His daughter died during the production of the movie. Warner Brothers.
That's a hard thing for him to even go back and work on.
Yes, because you're going to always associate that with, you know.
So maybe that's why he didn't want to do it sooner than this, because it was hard.
Now Warner Brothers is going back on its commitment, and instead of just giving fans something, Warner Brothers has been bullied. Worst of all, not their behavior regarding Snyder's dismissal was all that admirable, and they have responded in kind. Here, just have it. Now leave me alone.
That's not how they're acting at all.
That is not how they're acting at all.
You know what? Actually, they got pissed and got sick of people bullying them. We saw it with Joker.
Yeah.
They got sick of being bullied by media like Collider, by these outlets, and they basically locked them out and said, screw you. And now they're starting to realize that these people don't have their best interests. They don't care if they make money or not. They just want to be there to sit there and tell people what they should and shouldn't think. So they're turning now to the fans, like, what do you people want?
Yeah, the fans.
Imagine that.
Your customers are telling you what they want. You would be stupid not to give it to them.
And in this case, it's not like, you know, people who like the original are going to have the original taken away.
No, this is not uncommon at all. There's so many alternate cuts of movies. They're doing it. Look, at the end of the day, it is about the money. They're doing it to make money because they know people will subscribe to HBO Max just for this.
It's not like they're changing characters. It's not like they're, making all kinds of changes that don't make any sense and just like upending it and everything. It's the same thing. It's just it has different. It's just done differently. It's not like, it's not like they take some old property and they completely, bastardize it. That's not what's happening here.
No, that's what these outlets love. They love it when they bastardize. So basically this whole thing is how dare you listen to the fans? These outlets are so salty. Like you said, Warner Brothers is starting to get with the program. They realized last year that the media was trying to destroy Joker. They shot the media down. People went to support Joker just to give a middle finger to the media.
Because they're sick of them. They're sick of these colliders. They're sick of it. That's why colliders lose their money.
Why do people watch channels like ours? Because they're sick of websites like Collider. Websites like Collider that fired all their video people.
Again, you know what? Here's another case of, I don't like this, so I'm going to say that there's something problematic with anybody who wants this. That's the go-to in all this. There's never, I don't really like it, it's not for me, but hey, you guys do you. You go to watch that. I'll just watch the original. No, you can't do that. If you want the new one, or you want the one that I don't like, then you're toxic. You're problematic. You're bullies. And I think it's always funny when places like this are the biggest bullies out there calling everybody else bullies.
Yeah, look, and we've run into this too, where there are people who bully you, and then when you hit back, they cry about it.
You bullied me.
Yeah, how dare you?
It's like, well, you bullied my sister used to annoy my brother over and over again, and my mom would say to her, if you don't knock it off, he's gonna hit you, and he'd say, I'm gonna hit you if you don't quit it. I'm gonna hit you if you don't quit it. I'm gonna hit you if you don't quit it. And then he'd get so fed up, he'd hit her. And my mom's comment was, well, you kind of deserved it because he told you 3 or 4 times he was going to hit you if he didn't knock it off. So, that's what's going on here. And then, we go back to like what they're all still pissed off about the stupid Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah,
so this is a new trend. So for the last 5 years, these media outlets have been dictating what kinds of content gets promoted, what kind of content is acceptable. They've been pushing agendas, agenda-driven content. They've been calling fans toxic forever.
Oh my God, yeah. The words don't even mean anything anymore at this point.
It doesn't even mean anything. So they were starting to have a shit fit just last year when they decided to put Sonic the Hedgehog on hold to change it because the original design for Sonic was so god-awful.
But I can't think of anybody who actually liked it. I mean, somebody out there might have, and that's okay if you did, but the majority of people, I don't care, how you vote politically, I don't care if you lean left, if you lean right, if you do whatever. Everybody hated it. Most everybody hated it.
Yeah, that was pretty much unanimous. Everybody hated it. And again, this is Paramount. Paramount's like, you know what? Rather than have the movie bomb and become a laughingstock for the next 20 years, why don't we just take a couple of months and just fix the design? Very simple change.
And they weren't so far into it either that they couldn't undo it. They still had a lot of work to do on it, so they just went ahead and undid what they had already done and moved forward. And and the result was it did crazy well. It kicked Birds of Prey's ass, and then now everybody's talking sequels and everything else because it did so well and people really liked it.
Rock for Knuckles. I'm calling it. Dwayne Johnson for Knuckles.
There you go.
I've been calling it, and if that happens, you heard it here first.
He did actually say that like the day we went like right when it opened, and then you said like that night, hey, they should put the rock in for Knuckles.
Yeah.
And then he tweeted about it later.
Yes, he did. That was funny.
So, but yeah, this movie was a really good movie, and they listened to fans, and they realized they made a mistake, and then they fixed it, and then it paid off for them. So much. Jim Carrey was throwing shade about having to change it, and he even backtracked and apologized when he saw what a difference it made just to fix it.
If they had doubled down on Sonic the Hedgehog with that god-awful design and gone, now again, we're going to talk about like what to do and what not to do. If they had gone with that original design and then started using outlets like Collider and the Mary Sue and all these other sites to attack the fans and call them ingrates and whatever, this movie would have been a colossal bomb.
Yep.
It would have been a bomb. We'd still be talking about the shit that was flung at the fans. Nobody would support a sequel. It could have had repercussions on Sega because people might have been like, I am just done with Sonic the Hedgehog
Weren't the
completely.
people at Sega telling them not to do that either?
Sega told them, they're like, they're not going to like this. And they thought they knew better. But, you know, they were...
But they were at least, they weren't so arrogant that they couldn't admit to a mistake. And that's the thing. Fans will appreciate, like even with Star Wars, you know, after The Last Jedi and it splitting the fandom and everything else, they could have reined it in. They could have got these people reined in and they could have said, you know what, guys? Hey, you know what? We're sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't realize this, that, you know, doing this and, you know, doing what they did to Luke and everything else was going to be so upsetting. I get they're trying to take a new direction, but I can see where you're coming from. You know, so we're going to try to, you know, do better in the future. And, you know, just, you know, can we just have your support back? And we promise we'll do what we can to earn your trust back. A lot of people would have been like, yeah, you know what? That's really big of you. And we appreciate that. We respect that. I mean, some people wouldn't have, but a lot of people would have been more willing to give them a chance. But they didn't. They doubled down on the shit and called people more names.
Yeah, and then we had people from Lucasfilm out there just constantly attacking the fans. That's what, you know, stoked the fires, and it cost them money. Rise of Skywalker, I don't know if it lost money, but it sure as hell didn't make nearly as much as they thought it was going to. Star Wars merchandise sales dropped off a cliff. Now, the only quasi-apology I think fans have gotten has been The Mandalorian, because it's a completely different team of people who don't seem to loathe the fans.
No, they seem to understand Star Wars on some level.
Yet. But again, the fans are your customers. This is why don't they get this? Why don't they understand? You know, in one breath they're like, the fans shouldn't dictate art, and it's like, oh, who am I kidding? Justice League's not art. It was designed just to sell Happy Meals.
Yeah, and it's like,
which is it?
But they're not. Why do they get to have the final say?
Because they're the trusted
they
media.
Think, but they're not. The thing is, people aren't trusting them anymore, which is why they're failing.
Yeah, and this is why all these websites are laying people off. Because what's going on is the money's not there because the advertising revenue is drying up, and your tactics, a lot of them, and they've admitted to this, they do the clickbait because they know it gets hits. They know people get angry and they come to the website and leave a nasty comment. Oh, I get paid anyway. That's not working anymore. What happens is they're like, wow, this website's a joke. I'm never coming back. Yeah,
and then this title, why releasing the Justice League Snyder Cut sets a dangerous precedent. I'm like, what dangerous precedent? It's not like it's undoing the other one. It's just giving fans what they want. You know, dangerous precedent how? You're giving fans what they want so they spend money?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a crazy, far-fetched, dangerous idea.
These are the same people who talk about, the folks doing crowdfunding on Indiegogo as being grifters. You know, it's like, how dare you make money off of your comic books?
Because you didn't get my permission first.
You didn't get my permission. You didn't end run around the establishment. How very dare you?
And I've worked really hard the last 3 years to get myself this position at Collider to tell you what's what. I mean, I don't know how long he's worked there, but just in general, these people have just infiltrated these blogs in the last few years, and they've got to sit there and tell everybody, look down their nose at everybody and tell them, you know, that they don't know shit and that they're the experts and you must come to me. And now Hollywood's like, I'm not listening to you anymore.
Yeah, we were talking about comics being direct to consumer. I think we're getting that way with movies too, where they needed these blogs for years as part of their marketing team, but now they're like, hey, we can just go to social media ourselves and ask people what they want.
Yeah, or you can even just go look at the responses on videos on YouTube, and you can save yourself a shit ton of money.
And so why are these bloggers constantly attacking YouTubers?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
We are a threat. We are a threat because we're taking the eyeballs. We're getting the attention of the studios just by being honest, just being like, hey, this is what people want. This is what they don't want. You know? But speaking of what people don't want, I'm going to throw this in here real quick. I don't know if it was a joke or what, but Paul Feig supposedly has a 3.5-hour director's cut of Ghostbusters.
You know what? I don't want it. I don't think most fans want it. But if he wants to take the money and put it out there, and people want, and there's actually a group of people out there that are willing to support it, more power to him. No, thank you.
I just want Afterlife. That was like our most anticipated movie of this year.
Yeah, we were real excited about it.
And now we gotta wait till
Wonder
next
Woman
year.
is. I'm also very
excited.
excited.
Well, yeah, Wonder Woman too.
I can't wait for Wonder Woman. So
we'll get Wonder Woman. They were already jumping Gal Gadot about Wonder Woman having a fling with Cheetah, and she's like, no.
I'm not even.
They're like, no.
I was just thinking about I should do one of these shows in my underoos, but that's a whole other story.
Oh, you could do that too.
I mean, not on camera, obviously.
Well, no, I'm just saying because we're talking about the media outlets trying to like get people back into corner. Look, 2015 is over. We had 5 years of darkness of these new media news outlets, dragging fandoms through the mud. and it's ending. Even like Twitch with the deer lady that was, you know, and that's the attitude. The deer lady got pointed to this board or whatever and was out there apparently telling people that she was going to ban whoever she didn't like. And Twitch is like, no. That's not going to happen. It's like, you guys already lost Ninja, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, do you really want...
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And at the end of the day, it is about the money. The fans pay your bills. You gotta treat them right, and don't call them names. And you know what? You'll get theme songs, and you'll be praised, and they'll promote your product. And your Joker movie will make $1 billion.
Yeah.
You know, Sonic the Hedgehog will break records.
Yeah, imagine that if you listen to the fans and give them what they want instead of these whiners on these media outlets.
But yeah, I can't. I see all this hate. You know, they're just AT&T is hating this. They're hating it.
I know, right?
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was long again.
So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.